Hey, what is up guys, it's Mordant. So recently, the CEO of Kuro Games, Solon, has been involved in a few interviews where he's talked about different things about the game. He talked about why the game is getting a new region just barely 6 months after the game launch, and in a way, he sort of talked about the Rover Harem thing. So if you click the video because of the thumbnail, yeah, I will address that. Now, everything I'm going to talk about is on Twitter. Narushio actually posted translated versions of it, so that's what exactly I'm going to be talking about. And I will have all 3 of the tweets that I'm talking about linked down below, including summaries for the ones that Narushio has already made a summary of, so you can actually go there and see everything. But this video will be covering the things that I think will be most important and people will care about the most out of everything. So with that said, let's get into the video. So let me start off from the thumbnail of the video, the Rover Harem thing. So Solon talked about how the team in Rinasita wants to focus more on making players and characters have a lot more interactions in the game. And a lot of people have interpreted this to be a case of Solon essentially saying that they no longer want to have stories where characters just are in love with the rover and we don't know why they're in love with the rover. They want to now take it a step further and they want to explore the characters in depth, make us have a better connection with the characters, and then have the rovers be like our stand-in the story. And I'm not against this. I actually like the idea. The place where the rover was about to go Super Saiyan because Yang Yang got hurt by the Crownless never made sense to me, because you guys literally just met few minutes ago. I'm sorry. No matter how attached I am to you within the first few minutes, I am not going Super Saiyan in order to defend you when I just met you a few minutes ago. That might just say something about me, but I personally believe that that was not realistic. Also, the interactions with Yang Yang is overly attached to the rover, and this is not something that is built up over time. It's something that we have right from the beginning of the game, which does not make sense. Now, you could argue that Yang Yang knows who the rover is or knows their importance, so she's trying to be as friendly as possible to the rover. You can make that argument, that's fine, but it just feels strange sometimes. And this is just one of the examples. I'm not going to talk about the Shorekeeper because the Shorekeeper's case makes absolute sense. If you understand the lore and the story, you know why the Shorekeeper is very attached to the rover. I don't have any problems with that if I understand the story. Of course, I do feel that Kuro could have done a better job in making us understand why exactly she's so close. Like, if they had done it in-game a little bit earlier, maybe it would have made a little bit more sense, but I am not against it, okay? But there are a ton of people online who are against the whole rover thing. They think that every character just loves the rover and we don't have time to experience the characters' own stories themselves. So this is essentially Kuro Games saying they've taken our feedback and they will try to make our characters feel a lot more fleshed out. Now, it does not mean that the characters will not like the rover. I want to make that very clear. This has not expressly been said. There is still a chance that characters will like the rover a lot, but from what we've heard from the devs, it's more likely that we will now have gradual development to it. So we can probably go from acquaintance to friend to best friend, then potential lover. Of course, we know we're never going to get lovers in this game, but you guys get the idea. Just a gradual progression to make it feel a lot more natural that these people are this attached to the rover. And hopefully this will make the story interactions in the game a lot more interesting and fun to watch. I'm actually very interested in seeing how they implement this. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is about the patches that will be coming to the game. So I made a video just recently talking about how it's very strange that we had version 2 of the game less than 6 months after the original launch of Wuthering, but Solon essentially made it clear that that was always the plan. They plan to always release a new region in the game every 6 months or so, approximately every 6 months, if I'm to put what I saw in the tweet. Now, this actually raises a concern to me. So if you've paid attention to games that try to release yearly, aka Call of Duty, you've probably heard a lot of people saying that Call of Duty games and Assassin's Creed games and some other games are getting stale, and some people say it's because the games don't have time to develop. And I was actually thinking that that might be the case here. Now, I am not a game dev. I don't know everything that goes into it, but I do feel that 1 year of development is technically not enough time to make a full-on game. But then in this case, we're not making a full-on game. We're actually making just a new map, a new region. So I guess it's fine, but I was actually feeling like quality would suffer if we were going to be dealing with a new region every 6 months. And Solon actually technically addressed this. So at the beginning of the game, well, not really at the beginning of the game, but prior to the game's launch, we had talk about other regions being in Huanglong. So we have the Jinzhou region, and we were technically supposed to have other regions, sort of like other states in a single country, if you get my gist, that were supposed to be coming to the Huanglong region. So we wouldn't only have Jinzhou, we would have others. But they're moving over to Renacita now. But Solon clarified that we will still get those regions. So we'll still get those mini areas that will come out in Huanglong and Renacita. And I think that's what they want to focus on. I think that maybe every 6 months, they'll release a new area in a new region. So for example, in the Huanglong region, maybe in the next 6 months, we'll get another area within Huanglong that we can then explore, that will have its own mechanics and everything. And I think this is actually a lot more feasible to do, because we can spend a year, 2 years working on just the Huanglong map, okay? But then within the Huanglong map, we have different areas that have different things that they can offer to players. I absolutely love the idea. I think that this is what they're planning to do, and I'm really hoping this is how they're planning on implementing it, because I can't really see anyhow that they can implement this without quality taking a nosedive. Editing Mordant here. So I wanted to clarify what I was saying about the 1 year to develop a map thing. Essentially, I don't mean that they spend 1 whole year working on one map and not actually focusing on another map. I mean that they can start off working on one map or one area in a map, and then take a break, focus on another area, build that area. Then while they are working on the new area, they can then start brainstorming ideas that they can add to another region. So for example, now that we're done with Jinzhou, the team can take a break from Jinzhou, focus on Renacita, while another team is trying to brainstorm what can we add to Jinzhou to make it more interesting. This way, the devs aren't like basically crunched for time. They have enough time to think up an idea and try to implement the idea, if you guys can catch my drift. Now, one other thing I want to talk about is about Wuthering Waves coming to other platforms. So I made a video very recently talking about Wuthering Waves coming to the PS5, and I mentioned in that video that it would be likely that since Wuthering Waves is coming to the PS5, that it would come to the Xbox. But essentially, Solon talked about how they are trying to work towards it, but it's not going to be coming immediately. So all ye Xbox fans, you Mac users, you Nintendo Switch enthusiasts, you guys will eventually get a chance to try Wuthering Waves on a different platform. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how it will run on Mac. It's not every day you hear about a game being released on Mac. Talk more of a game that's technically supposed to be like a AAA game. I'm very interested in seeing how they'll actually port this over to the Mac. So let's keep our eyes peeled. Maybe within the next 1 to 2 years, we'll get some more information about new platforms that Wuthering Waves will actually release on. Now, I'm going to end off the video here. I think I've ranted on long enough. These 3 things were the things that I thought were the most important things talked about, but there are a ton of stuff that were talked about in the tweets. They talked about their thoughts about the success of the game, the things that they did to improve the game after the honestly very rough launch of version 1.0, and some other stuff. So I highly encourage you to actually go and look at those tweets. The 3 of them are linked down below, like I already mentioned. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. You'll also from time to time get some challenge videos on Wuthering Waves. I also plan on covering some other games on the channel like Ananta, Azure Promilia, Genshin Impact, and some other games. So make sure you tune into the channel. Also join the hideout on Discord, and I will catch you guys in the next video. By the way, this should be my second to last video for 2025. My next video will come in about 2 days from now, so I hope I see you guys there. And if you're not going to actually be there for that video, then I wish you a happy new year in advance. And like I already said, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.